I do want to talk about this because it's important. I did have a minor update from Twitch about what's going on. And sadly, I'm going to tell you this. The news doesn't sound very good. To the point where, you know, I've been telling you guys since I lost my partnership back on April 21st, which was roughly 2 weeks ago. All right. I've been nervous about the future because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make ends meet and be able to stream full-time on Twitch without having revenue from the partner program, which was subscriptions and bits. And I've told you guys, if you could convert over from cheering and subbing and instead tip me during the streams or pledge to my Patreon, then maybe I could still make this work full time. And I told you guys I was going to do an experiment last week, see how it went. The truth is the experiment was successful. Last week, the support was great. And if I could keep getting that level of support, that means I would actually be able to stay here on Twitch without the partner program. All right? That's just being truthful. It went well last week. And there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to stick around. Okay? But this week, guys, the last 2 days have not been good at all. I did not hit a support goal once at all in the past 4 streams. Some of them I didn't even get halfway. Now, listen. Not every single stream can be a monstrous success, and not every single stream ever has ginormous amounts of financial support. You're never going to have that. I understand that. Even when I was in the partner program, there were some streams when not only tips, but cheering and subbing were low. And that's okay every once in a while. But this has been 4 straight streams. Okay? And I'm playing the new releases. It's not like, oh, well, Phil, it's because you're playing all downtime stuff. No, I'm playing the new releases, and still this is happening. Okay? Now, here's the thing. If a certain factor was going to happen, then it might not have been so bad, but it sounds like it may be pretty bad. Allow me to explain. So behind the scenes of all this stuff going on the past couple of weeks, I've been constantly trying to be in contact with Twitch about what happened. I sent them 2 request logs. The first request log was, hey, you kicked me out of the partner program. Can you tell me why? And can you tell me if I'm eligible to reapply? Because I need to know what's going on. They have not responded to that log at all. At all. All right? They basically asked for me to confirm my identity. I did, and then they never responded. And it's been 2 weeks now. Okay? So they're never going to respond to that one. Okay? Now, there's a second log that I put in over the course of the last week. And this one was as follows. Okay, you kicked me out of the partner program. I require information on how much I earned during the actual weeks of April that I was in the partner program, which would have been the first 3 weeks. I was kicked out on April 21st. And I need to know not only how much I earned, but when you're going to pay me for it. Because this is revenue I need to pay bills and keep my not only my business afloat, but pay my mortgage and things. This is income I depend on every month. And I understand you kicked me out. You won't tell me why, but I need to know what's going on with the balance of what was left over because I need to know if I can pay bills and stuff this month. Okay? So, here's the thing. They responded to that one. Now, here's the funny thing. People were like, oh, maybe the reason they didn't respond to your first request was just because they're backed up. No, because if that was the case, they wouldn't have responded to the second request and not the first. It's obvious they just don't want to say anything about the first one. They don't want to reveal any reason. Okay? So they did respond to the second request, and here's what they said. Once basically you're out of the partner program, the generic help people can't help you anymore. I have to direct that request to the legal department because the legal department will hash out anything in regards to anything remaining after the fact. I guess what they're basically saying is partner support is only there to help you while you're a partner. Once you're not a partner anymore, they don't have any kind of responsibility to help anyone. And so because I'm not a partner anymore, they're not going to talk about if there's any residuals, if I'm getting paid. They don't have that information. I have to talk to the legal department. Yeah. So they gave me the address for the legal department, and I did email them. Same email. I basically just said, hey, listen, the help department is saying, or the support team, I guess I should say, is saying they can't help me. Can you help me? Because I need to know, am I getting any payment this month for all the work I put in for the 3 weeks that I earned under the partner program in April? And I basically said, listen, I know for a fact, by the way, legally, you are owing me this. All right? Because here's the thing, over the years, I looked into it, there have been many situations where partnerships like this have had disputes, where a company would kick someone out of a partnership or there's a dispute between the two sides of the partnership and they can't come to a mutual agreement. And there have been many times when a company has tried to withhold funds. It doesn't work. Every single time that's ever happened, they got sued, whether it was a class action lawsuit or a direct lawsuit, and they had to pay up. They had to pay up every time. Now, you guys remember, both with Machinima and with Curse, both companies where I had partnership agreements, okay? Both of those, I was released from the partnership, just like what happened with Twitch, okay? Same exact situation, essentially, where they were like, we've just decided to terminate. In fact, with Machinima, that was exactly what happened. Machinima never gave me a direct answer. It was just, we are terminating your partnership agreement, all right? But Machinima paid me what they owed me for what I had earned up to that moment. Okay? So, legally, Twitch would have to pay me. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be difficult about it. Okay? If Twitch were to do the right thing here, what they would do is everything that was not refunded, because I am aware that you guys told me that anyone who had subbed within like 2-3 days of when the partnership was terminated, you guys got refunds, right? That's right. So if you guys got refunds, fair enough. But for everyone who did not get refunded, and of course for all the cheering that happened, all that legally is actually mine. Doesn't matter if they terminated the partnership because they executed their part of the agreement where they can do that. Legally, they still owe me what I earned for the first 3 months of April. Okay? It doesn't actually matter what's in their terms of service. It doesn't matter. In the terms of service of AdSense, Google AdSense, it says that too. In the terms of service of both the contracts I had with Machinima and Curse, it said that too. But legally, they had to pay me. It doesn't matter what's in there. It's what's legal. Like, I tell you guys this all the time. Companies try this stuff all the time. They put clauses in things. They say these things. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's actually legal in the system. And even though they might have that in their contract, it doesn't mean that it's enforceable. It just means that they're trying to cover their own butts, but it doesn't mean that it actually means anything. All right? Now, here's the thing. Am I going to sue Twitch? Of course not. Absolutely not. I have no plans to take any legal action against Twitch. I can't anyway. Even if I wanted to, I don't have the money to do it. And quite frankly, it's not worth it. For the amount that I probably earned within 3 weeks, it's definitely not worth it. Okay? So I'm not going to be doing anything like that at all. But the fact that the support team is basically telling me, well, you got to talk to the legal team, that basically tells me this is not going to be an easy thing. This is probably going to be a situation where they're probably not going to pay me. That sucks. Now, here's why. This is being as transparent with you guys as I can as an audience, all right? How this usually works is as follows. All right? In the middle of the month, which typically was around the 15th of every month, Twitch would pay me. When Twitch paid me, I would use that to pay my mortgage immediately and also to pay things such as my back tax payment that I have to pay every month. That comes up just a few days after that, as well as other bills and stuff that pop up around that time, like utilities and stuff. Okay? So that's what the Twitch money would go to. It would be the mortgage, it would be utilities, it would be back taxes, all those things. Okay? Then a little bit later in the month, I get my monthly YouTube payment for ad revenue on YouTube, and I would use that money usually to pay my monthly income tax payment to the feds, and then whatever's left over would pay the residuals of all the bills and everything that I have until the end of the month. Now, you guys remember that usually within the first 2 weeks of the month, I tell you that's the tightest time of the month for me, because usually I rely on tips. You guys tipping me during the live streams to pay all my bills. That's very much correct. During the first 2 weeks of the month, you guys, your tips pay everything here. And what are the bills that I pay in the beginning of the month? I'll be transparent with you. All right? My car payment, which actually I have to pay by the end of today. So I got my car payment. The dues on this condo that I live in now. The dues on the condo in Connecticut that I'm stuck with because they still won't foreclose on it because I think they're sitting on it to wait for the home value to go up so they make more money on the sale. So there's nothing I can do about that. I'm stuck with that every single month. Also, my internet bills. My 2 internet bills have to clear. So that's 4 major, huge payments that I have to make between now and the middle of the month, when typically I would get paid by Twitch. So usually it's your tips would pay those bills, all right? And then when I got paid by Twitch, all right, now I have the funds to pay my mortgage and everything else, okay? So that's basically how it works for me every month. Now, some months are better, where things are better. Maybe I got a little bit extra. That's great. Some months are not so good. And then you hear me talk about it publicly on the stream. Man, things went slower this month and I need help. Stuff like that. That's pretty much how it's been month to month. All right? That's my life right now. And it's funny because some people have said, well, Phil, since the bankruptcy, didn't things get financially better for you? Well, yeah, but the way they got financially better is I don't owe a bunch of credit card debt anymore. But instead now, the payments that I had going towards the credit card debt are now going towards the federal taxes I owe every month and the back tax plan to pay the taxes I didn't pay for the last 3 years. You see? So there's no, because Phil had bankruptcy granted last year, all his funds are freed up. That's actually very much not the case at all. It's now the money is going to where it should be going rather than going to this frivolous credit card debt. Okay? So it's very different. Now, here is my major concern. All right? Again, trying to be as transparent with you guys as I can. Because I, overnight, kind of, went from being a little bit worried and nervous about the future to flat out being afraid. And here's why. If they don't pay me what they owe me for what I earned in the month of April under the partner program come May 15th, I don't have any money to pay the mortgage. That's the money that every month I use to pay the mortgage. Okay? So, here's the thing. If you do the math and you think about it, okay? The reason that I set up the daily goals that we have here on the streams, okay, is very simple. If I hit those daily goals, I would raise enough money to pay the bills that I have here at the beginning of the month and raise the excess that would allow me to pay the mortgage when it comes the middle of the month if I don't get paid by Twitch. Which at this point, being that they referred me to the legal team, I'm going to just assume they're not going to pay me. Okay? I'm just going to assume it, that they're not going to pay me. So, what I really need to do is, sadly, do my best to kind of raise what I need. And that's why I have these goals in place. You know, if I'm hitting these goals, it's making up for the fact that there's no cheering, no subbing, and it's allowing me to raise the funds I need in the short term to pay my mortgage in about 11 days. Okay? So that's the problem, is I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I have no clue what's about to happen. Right? And that makes me incredibly nervous right now. Like, what am I going to do if I don't raise the goals I need to pay this mortgage and Twitch doesn't pay me? I'm screwed. Now I'm behind on the mortgage. By the way, I have to pay the taxes. If I don't pay the taxes, I default. If I default, now the government comes after me for the tax money, which is not good. That means they're going to try to basically grab any funds that come in that need to go to other things and take it first. You see? This is not good. Now, here's the thing. All right? First of all, up until last week, things were going good. I wasn't nervous. Because like I said, as of last week, the streams I was hitting the goals or getting close to it. It was good. For some reason this week, we've slowed down dramatically. And I don't know why. Because people were saying, yes, it makes sense. We're going to support. We used to cheer and sub. We're not going to do that anymore. We'll tip. And a few people have pledged to Patreon. I'll be honest, not a ton. I think it was like an additional maybe 24 people have pledged to my Patreon who didn't used to. So that's a very small handful of the people who used to sub here went over to the Patreon. And I do appreciate, by the way, I do appreciate those who have supported in that way, because I realize that that's very different from subbing here. You don't get immediate gratification, all right? And I get that, but thank you to those who did do that, okay? Now, what I'm trying to tell you is very simple, all right? I love live streaming. I love doing this for a job. I'm not giving up, but I have plans. Like, I wanted things to improve things around here to get them back to the way they were. I'll give you an example. I can go and I can do a premium membership with Better Twitch TV that allows me to get 50 emotes. That means I could essentially bring back all of the emotes that you guys are losing because your final subs are expiring. I can get those back for the channel, okay? I have the ability to bring in a bot, and this bot's sole purpose would be to track a currency for the channel, you know, channel points, penne points, and we could actually bring back wagers to the channel via the form of this bot. Okay? Also, What was the third thing? Because there's 3 things that I'm working on. God, now I'm having a brain fart. What was the third major thing that we lost as a result of the subs going away? Now I can't even remember off the top. Oh, shit. Anyway, the point I'm making is thus. All right? I can make significant improvements to the streams to try to bring them back to the level that they were at when I was still in the partner program. That's right. King Oaken hit it. He says the polls. We can work with Nightbot, and you know, it would take a little bit of work to try to streamline it and tweak it. Make Nightbot work to do polls for the streams so that we can bring back the polls, since, again, the polls went away when I lost the partnership. Okay? So I could do all of this. All right? I could re-implement a lot of this stuff. But what's the point of doing that if I can't make a living here anymore, right? What's the point of doing all that work and getting all that stuff set up if I'm just going to end up leaving Twitch in the next couple of weeks and go somewhere else? Namely, it would be jumping to YouTube, at least for the short term, right? There's no point. I'd be putting in all this work and effort. Everyone will be like, oh, this is great. Oh, by the way, I can't make enough to make a living here anymore. I got to leave. Bye. And then, well, what did I do it for? Right? So that's the point I'm making, is I need to know over the next week, is this still viable? It was viable up until last week, and all of a sudden this week, the last 2 days, I haven't hit a tips goal at all, right? I'm not even close. And that's a bad sign. Like, is this a sign that it was basically just a very short-term outpouring of support, and now that's it? It's dried up? Because if that's the case, that's bad. Okay? That's not good at all. That's very, very bad. And I don't know what to do about that. All right? I just don't. I'm gonna probably have to go somewhere where there'll be other kinds of support. Here's my major question. Now, I'd like an honest answer, please. Everyone, please be honest. When I was in the partner program, you guys could sub and you could cheer. What is your major reason for not converting that support over to either tipping or pledging to my Patreon? And if your answer is, well, it's because we had Twitch Prime and we were getting the free sub, I completely 100% understand that. 100% I understand that. All right? But the other question is, what is the other reason? Some people are saying Twitch Prime. Fair enough. I understand that. They're saying it was free. It was a free sub. I get that. Tipping gives away personal information is completely false. I've already answered that a million times. That's a conspiracy theory from assholes who don't want me to succeed and be able to keep doing what I do for a living. 100% it's a lie. I get no personal information about you at all when you tip, besides an email address. That's it. So it's bullshit, and you shouldn't believe lies from people. Just like the idiots who are anti-vax. Oh, when you take the vaccine, you grow a third arm and you fucking, you know, what are you talking about? We're trying to stop the coronavirus from spreading. Don't get the vaccine because of conspiracy theories now? It's fucking ridiculous. People just make shit up and want to believe it because they're dumb. Don't be one of those fucking people. Seriously. Think for yourself. Some people are saying your sub was gifted. Fair enough. That's another good reason, I would say. Either a gifted sub or a Twitch Prime sub. Then I would understand. Because technically, you weren't financially contributing anyway. It was something that was free or gifted. That I understand. But, for example, a lot of people used to cheer. Right? Definitely a lot of people used to cheer. And I will say there's a few people like Snow Carl who I see them now tipping $1 here, $1 there to make up for how they used to cheer. And I get that. I totally understand that. All right? But I'm seeing a lot of people who used to cheer. You know, that's it. It's like, well, can't cheer, I'm done. Is it because, all right, here's a question. Is it because maybe previously you were using like a credit card to pay for contributions? And now because the way that my PayPal is set up, that it's a verified deal, is it too much of a hassle because you can't just go and have it done? Instead, you have to have the verified PayPal. Is that what it is? I'm curious. Snorlax says it was cheaper to cheer than tipping minimum. Completely false. Completely false, because the insane profit margin that is actually taken when you buy bits, it's way, way cheaper to tip than it is to cheer. That is completely false. 100%. Slow Carl is saying people feel that, again, PayPal is insecure. I'm telling you again. It's not. It's not. It's not unsecured. The only thing I ever see when you tip me is your email address and the payment method that you sent it with. Like, was it a verified payment or was it an unsecured credit card payment? I don't get information about the bank account or the credit card. I just gave in general information. That's it. The only way that anyone would be doxxed tipping is if you actively did it on purpose. Like, you put in your real name and all this personal information into your email address and or name on PayPal, and then you tip someone, then you're doxing yourself. But you have the ability to change all that to make it so you hide your identity. So I don't know what you're talking about. That's just ridiculous. So, as you can see, we have asshole conspiracy theorists in here, and I'm just getting rid of them all. I'm not putting up with it. I'm not putting up with nonsense. I'm not. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm just going to ban every idiot who's going to say, oh, conspiracy theory. That's fake. You guys have to understand something. Your stupidity hurts people. Your outright dumb fuck stupidity, right? Believing nonsense that has no factual basis actually concretely hurts people. So I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. I'm just not. I'm not going to allow you to lie publicly on a stream where I rely on this as income, and you're going to tell people don't tip because it doxes you when it doesn't. You're a liar. You're an idiot. You believe anything because you're stupid, and you want to believe the drama, and you want to believe the negativity, and you're probably, I'll be honest, you're probably rooting for me to fail. And that's why you're going to sit here and say that. So you can go fuck off and don't come back. Okay? Enough is enough. So here's the thing. All I am asking for is the same level of support that I was already getting, but it has to be in a different form. All right? I understand many people used to sub, and they can't sub anymore because they don't have Twitch Prime anymore. Maybe people got gifted subs. Okay, totally understand that part. All right? But people who used to cheer, people who used to sub for themselves every month, I don't understand why, if you like the content, you couldn't convert over to either pledging to the Patreon, which is actually even more simple. You can set up a recurring thing on Patreon every month for however much you want. If you want to just go with the standard amount that the sub was, it's $5, right? It's not a big deal. But yeah, I've only seen about 20, 25 people go over there and do that. So obviously with 900 people who were subbing, there's a big disconnect here. Okay? That's a big disconnect. I don't know. I don't understand the disconnect. Okay? I don't. And cheering, okay, maybe like I said, maybe what it is you used to buy bits with a credit card, and it was so easy, you go click, 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 done. And you can't do that when you tip me, because I can't accept unsecured tips because of fraud. All right? I get that too. I totally understand these things. But there's a difference between, okay, there's a small difference or there's a giant difference. And right now, it's a giant difference. You see what I'm saying? Okay, now. So here's the deal, everyone. Right now, I essentially have 11 days to not only continue to stream and raise as much as I can to pay the bills that I need to pay in the next week. I need to try to find a way to raise as much as I can to pay my mortgage. And if I don't, I'm screwed. If I don't have enough to pay my mortgage, I don't know what I'm going to do. All right? I also don't feel that if I just ran away from Twitch to YouTube right now that it would solve anything either. I don't. Because even if that happened, and even if people became very generous and immediately started doing things like the memberships and the super chats over there, I don't even think that I would get that revenue this month. I think that there's a month processing time before you get it. So I probably wouldn't even receive any of that until next month anyway. So there's no real point to rushing from one site to the other until we actually see what's really going to happen. All right? And here's the other thing. As I said, I want to stay here. I like being here. This is a 4+ year, situation where I've worked here to build a community. And I found, I looked behind the scenes and I found not necessarily 100% equivalent, but at least things that are similar to the things that we have lost. I can get back the emotes via, of course, a browser plugin with Better Twitch TV, but That's going to be a lot of work to have to pay for the premium service and then load them in, get them working, and then basically get everyone to convert over to using better Twitch TV. All right. I can get polls back with Nightbot. It's going to take some tweaking to get the polls working because Nightbot is very simplistic, but I think we could get that to work. Like, for example, we hit a vest goal. You could vote on the vest, right? The people love doing that. We could bring that back. We could do channel points, penne points. We'll just call them penne points. And we could do events where you guys do wagers on the games I'm playing, and it's the virtual points will come back. It'll track how many points each chatter has and everything, just like we had. We can bring back all this stuff. I want to bring back all this stuff, but I can't commit to doing it until I know if I can stay here. And with the fact that the last 2 days we saw a sheer drop in support on the last 4 streams, that makes me worry. I don't even know what I'm going to do. It came to the point where it was like, wow, I'm feeling very positive. People are very supportive right now. They're helping me, going above and beyond. This is great. To what the hell just happened? 2 straight days where everything's slow, right at the time when I need to be raising the funds to possibly pay my mortgage, because I don't know if Twitch is going to pay me what they owe me for last month. You see what I'm saying? It was a complete flip. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't think I could do anything about it. In the short term, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I think it's a long-term change. Yes, long-term, if I'm going to leave Twitch and go to YouTube, for example, yes, I could do that, but that wouldn't even help me in the short term. That wouldn't help me with this mortgage situation. You see? So, that's the deal. All right? That's the... Diction, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Just shut up. He actually just said, I don't need better internet because I'm only streaming at 720p. I just want to like, oh my God. All right. How about this? You're the last person to speak up about anything. Just stop. Just fucking stop now. Yes, downgrade my internet. Oh my God. I totally don't play multiplayer games all the time that require the best internet. I totally don't stream all day long and require the highest quality internet that won't drop. And if it does, they'll come fix it right away. Because this is my full-time job, I can downgrade my internet. But, oh my God. That's the kind of input someone doesn't need. You want to give me constructive criticism? Well, improve your streams by doing this or doing this. Great. Not downgrade the thing you've had for 7 years because you know you need it for your job. Oh my God. That's the kind of shit that gives me a headache. People who think they know better. And they're going to speak up out of nowhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Now go make videos about it, too. About how you know better.